Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Amused Jaster. My name is Junior. Today we're going to take a look at Modoking's The Batman Tumbler. This is from The Dark Knight Returns. This is a 1/12 scale model. There you go. 1/12 scale model that you have to assemble of the tumbler. Now this is from The Dark Knight Returns because this has a nice feature where you can actually remove parts from the tumbler and assemble it into the bat pod. And included in this kit is a separate set of tires for the front, so you can actually display the tumbler and the pod at the same time. This is, I believe, $125 I bought from Big Bad Toy Store. It is bigger than I expected, the box, but this is supposed to be on 1/12 scale. Let's see, it's so big I'm not really gonna look at the box really quick. So this first part, I'm just gonna open it up really quick and then show you what's inside and the instructions, and then I'll do a build on it and then a review, all in the same video, I hope. So I wonder if this has been opened, because as you saw, the front part is right side up, and yet this is not. This is upside down. You would think it would all be oriented at the same spot. I only say if it's open or not because these are actually have these stickers, and yet they were loose, but it's possible that the glue had just come off. So let me put this down for now. I initially pre-ordered this when I first became aware of it, and then I canceled it afterwards because honestly, the 1/12 scale Batmobiles, I've had to put most of them in storage because I just didn't have room once I got into the Star Wars 3.75 collection. And the reason why I went ahead and pre-ordered and bought it again is because of the in-art Batman figure 1/12 scale. I was so impressed with it that I went ahead and ordered that, and I figured, yeah, you know what, let's go ahead and buy this one. Now I plan on displaying this with the McFarlane 1989 Batmobile, the 1992 Batmobile, the Batman animated series. They're all kind of in the same size, or the same, it's not the same scale, but they're kind of in the same size. The 1989 is closer to 1/12. 1992 is closer to 1/7 or 1/10 is McFarlane's scale. So it's kind of complicated to do. I believe you have the option of putting lights into this one. So this is an actual model kit, but it does not require glue, I believe. These are all snap-on kits, but it's much more detailed than what McFarlane was able to give us. And remember, McFarlane, when it first came out, was about, what, $80? It's currently $33 right now on Amazon. The one from the Dark Knight Rises, where it's all camo tumblers. But $80 compared to $120, which also contains the tumbler. I believe it's a good value. So here are some of the spots. Or some of the parts. This is the canopy. Some of the wings. It's a lot, but they're like individual, that's why. Of course, you still kind of have to paint this. Specifically, this is from the bat pod, as you can see. Like the the copper trims are not there. Unlike the gunpla kits, which have various color kits within the frame, these are all just seems to be all black. So you do need to paint things up a bit. The pile is getting quite big. Just a second. Seats. Okay. More stuff. Oh, it looks like there are, I mean, some parts are different colored plastic already. Here are some of the copper things that I was talking about. But I still think you still need to paint some stuff off the main one. So I'm glad that this at least were already pre-painted plastic. This is the tires, which is rubber, and the tires in the front, which is still rubber but harder. And here are the light kits, some LEDs. Yeah, I think this is open because the battery seems to be missing. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and assemble this. It's gonna be a while, but not for you guys, and I'll be right back. Alright, at this point of the video, I would just want to stop and show the progress so far. So it's basically, I think, 2-3 hours, and I finished the bat pod. The model is amazing and frustrating at the same time. It really is. Oh, it's not fully in here yet, is it? Because there's a lot of issues with how they manufactured this model kit. So first thing I did, just to make sure, to make it easy for me so I'm not going back and forth, was I separated the parts list into 5 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the first part. 6, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 is the second, third. It goes by fifths. So that way I know that when I started here and it's asking for U, then I'm looking at lot number 5. So I went ahead, after I separated it here, I separated the parts into 5 different piles so that I'm only concentrating on that one pile and not going back and forth. Okay, so that's one of the things I would suggest. Other people might do it better. Other model kits who knows what they're doing might do it better. So the other part of the problem is how they did the sprucing of this this model kit. I'm gonna do a cutaway of a short video that I shot talking about this problem. So here's a sample of the problem with how they did the sprue. So for example, this wheel over here, I'm going to do a cut really quickly. As you can see, I'm not even paying attention on how close I've got it because honestly, it doesn't matter. So notice that everything of the sprue seems to be, normally when you do a model kit, the way they do it is the sprue is connected to the material to the side, right? This is the other half of this tree. The problem is, look, where I cut the sprue off, they actually connected it to the underside. Now this is supposed to come together like so, but it can't because the sprue is still there. So now you have to do a secondary cut. everything in here, because you can't cut it on the underside on the very first cut. And you have to be careful to remember which ones of these you cut, because sometimes the part is so small that I've had it where the nub was there and there's a small circle protruding over here that's part of the design. And also, now you're obligated to really clean. There's another one left over. You have to make sure this is flush, otherwise it's not gonna line up correct. So I mean, you can, now you have to sand it and everything. In most models you can get away with not sanding it, you know, if you're kind of like lazy and everything, because I'm not a modeler. I just wanted to build stuff. Like I wanted to build some Gundams and some in this model. I'm not a professional modeler, and I'm not gonna do that. So also you need to make sure you know the orientation of the unit. So now I'm gonna press this together. So as you can see, it's not completely, the gap's not completely gone. It's still, you can still see a little bit through it. Yeah, so that's the problem with the sprucing. All right, so now that I've shown you the problem with the sprucing, I also want to show you a problem with the tires over here, because I've looked at videos on this one. Most of the people who are putting these together do it on speed run, and they don't really show you the tires. There's a problem with how you're supposed to do the tires. So let me do a quick cutaway on that. So here's the problem with the wheel. So this is the part of the wheel that's ready to go to the rubber tire. This rubber tire barely has any give. It does, but it's very, very tight. You know, the only way to put it is you just gotta force it in, because there's not a lot of give or anything, and you're thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna break it or something. No, just gotta really push it in. It's really, really hard. What a pain. Yeah, this is, maybe you can heat it up and that will make it better, but okay, I was able to shove it a little bit in. As you can see, it's crooked, and that's actually the only way to do it. So even though it's already in, it's still hard. Okay, got it in. It's crooked still. Just gotta a little bit out in here, and there, it's in. What a pain. And the other thing too is, look at the instructions over here, and you'll notice that certain steps you're only putting one part. And like, for example, for this particular part of a squiggly, you need to make sure you know how to orient your pieces. And also, when you're cutting the sprues, be very, very mindful of which sprue you're cutting, because sometimes there's a part that's intended to be there. Like, for example, this part right here, this small part, actually corresponds to this small thing right here, this small cable. It's that small. It's literally like almost this size. And sometimes the sprue is like right here, or maybe here. And if you're not careful, you're gonna cut that sprue and mistake it, or you're gonna cut this small part and mistake it for a sprue. Let me show you one part of a video where I was questioning that before I cut it. And also, this video should tell you more about orienting your part correctly. So here's another problem with the sprucing. I'm about to cut off V11 over here. I'm gonna put your mind, see how you're supposed to cut it here and here and here. But how about this one? Are you supposed to cut it here? Can you see that? Or here on the other side, right? That's the thing though. This small disc, I think, is part of the main part, and they're not even discussing that. Sometimes they'll show it where, For example, see how this thing right here, this part is already done. When you see this, it's basically saying be careful, don't cut these nubs, because those knobs are the ones that you need to attach this to these two holes. So for this one, just to make sure, I'm gonna cut here, 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 and then only here, and I'm gonna leave that for now. Okay, now that I've cut the part, here's the tire and this is the part. You need to make sure you have it properly oriented. So what I'll do is I'll look at the diagram, because there's really nothing telling you how this thing goes. I'll look at the diagram, compare it to the piece, and I'll notice there's a loop in the bottom. So this must be the bottom part. And now that part that I was talking about, that was part of the sprue, whether I should cut in here or here, it's a good thing I left it out, because right there in the very top of the diagram or the drawing, you can see there's a small nub protruding. So now you're supposed to insert it like this, but you don't know where is it going to. It doesn't say. So you know there's a key, and this is the only thing that makes sense, and you can look and there's an actual key in there. So when you're putting this part, these things together, there's really not a lot of instructions. There's an instruction, but it's all, you got to be smart enough to compare the parts, to orient it properly, because you might not be able to get back to it again, or you might have to disassemble a lot of parts just to get back to that one part. And also, do not cut parts ahead of the item. There are times here where in one step you're only putting in one part. You're thinking there's two parts here. No, this is only one part, and it's telling you not to cut these pieces, and then the orientation of the piece. Look, 1 2 3 4 5 steps. Let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 steps. You're only putting in 5 small parts. This one, where is that here in this piece? It's all hidden now. Look, all this stuff, this part right here is this one right here. All this stuff that you put in here, right here, it's underneath here. You don't even see it, and yet you're still putting it in. I mean, I applaud the amount of attention to detail. Like this part right here, it's this one right here. And this part, it's this one over here. It's all underneath and hidden, and yet you still had to do it. It's very detailed, yet yeah, it's kind of amazing and frustrating at the same time. All right, so now that I've shown you all the problems that I've encountered with this instruction booklet, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the whole project off and do the tumbler. But I just want to show you the complex detail that they're putting in this tumbler. So this is technically, you can disassemble this and put it back into the tumbler if you want to. And I'll tell you, some of the parts over here, it doesn't make sense, and yet they still do it. For example, this part over here, this small part over here, do you know where that is? Underneath here. You don't even see it. This part right here, it's this small right here. This long one over here, you can kind of see this small part right there, and that's the other end. It's actually hidden behind this panel. It is that intricate. Like, this is one part over here that's connected to this long bar and everything. It's intricate, and it's almost designed to fool you that it's supposed to be movable. Like this, it almost seems like it's supposed to pivot. Don't even bother, because there's connections over here that prevent it from pivoting. Once you've assembled it, you'll understand there are parts here that you think it's movable, and it's not. I think this is the only one that might be safe to move. I don't remember this one being movable or anything. It's just so weird. But the attention to detail is amazing, but at the same time kind of frustrating, because you have to put all these things together. I'm not sure if I have this correctly placed, because I'm not sure if there's even supposed to be a gap there, but I'll check that out. Anyway, there's the tumbler. I mean, there's the bat pod. I'm gonna go ahead and continue building the whole kit, which is probably gonna take me 2 or 3 days, and I'll be back with a final review.